Multi-step equations with variables on both sides. What do I mean by both sides? What do you think I mean? Because I could add more. Yep.
There are variables on both sides of the equal.
Good. Of the equal sign. So remember we have the balancing act going, and we've had a variable on one or the other. Today we're going to have variables on both sides, and how we're going to deal with those the same exact way we've dealt with every other problem. That's what we're going to do. We're going to undo what's going on. As long as we do it to both sides, it's allowed. So let me give you an example of a problem, a kind of a simpler one. 6c plus 7 equals 8c and then minus 13. Okay, your first step is to make sure that both sides are as simple as possible. Remember, we had to simplify both sides. So looking at the left side, I'm just underlining it for emphasis. Is there anything I could do to make that simpler? No. These are not like terms. You cannot combine them into 13c. That's not going to work. But this side on the right, can I make that simpler? Can I make it any simpler? No, they're not like terms, so I can't combine anything. All right, so first step, make both sides simpler, and they are. Okay, second step. Did you guys notice that the variable's in two spots? Get it to one spot. Make it come to one spot. There are two ways I can do that. So I'm going to branch off. I'm going to make two separate equations. Both of them are going to be valid and therefore solvable and will come out to the same equation if you work them out correctly. All right. So I have the two arrows, and I'm going to show you. You don't have to erase those arrows, but I'll show you the first way. I'll write it over here. I could do something here to both sides. I'm going to subtract 6c from both sides. You're like, wait, what? What's going on between 7 and 6c? Added. Can I take away 6c by subtracting 6c? Is that allowed? Yeah, it is. But what I do to one side, I got to do to the other. So I'm going to subtract 6c from the right side. Now notice that I lined it up right here, negative 6c minus 6c. And what happens to those, by the way? They cancel out. And I'm going to be left with this equation. 7 equals, right? So 7's on the left. And then I put the 6c under the 8c. You know why I put them on top of each other? Because they are like terms. I just want to keep the like terms. I could have put it over here, but it might not be so clear that I can actually combine these. What's 8c minus 6c? 2c minus 13 is still there. And I could solve that equation. In fact, you will solve that equation beginning. Hold on. Now. Solve that equation. Solve this one right here. I want to find out what c is. So undo what's going on with c in this equation. So this is review of what you've done in the past. And please check it. Please check it. I don't want people to say, whoa, that wasn't it. Well, did you know that ahead of time? Yes. Oh, sorry. Give them a little bit more time, and then I'll ask Ethan for the value of c. And check it, because it might not work. And then Ethan, if you can sit. There you go. All right. How many of you have a value for c? You have something for c. Okay, I'll give you 30 more seconds to get it. It worked. Oh, good. What a great feeling. And you can have that same feeling of relief, of hope on the test or on the quiz or test. You're taking it, and then you check it. Oh, it works. Move on. You got that one right. Like, that's how sure you can be. All right, who got C? Oh, Ethan, what'd you get for C? 10. How many you get C equals 10? All right, let's check it because I want to make sure. What's 6 times 10? 60. Plus 7? So this side should equal 67. Let's see, 8 times 10? 80 minus 13? 67. So it checks, right? Check. It works. But that was only one way to work this problem. So don't erase it. Remember, I'm just going to show you another way to do it. Now, do you remember the first time I did it? I subtracted 6c from both sides. That was not my only option. I could subtract. Okay, you could. So actually, guys, I'm going to tell you right now. I think there are 6 ways to work this problem out. I'm not showing you all 6 ways. That's overload. But are both sides simplified? Are both sides simplified? Both sides, are they as simple as can be? Yes. And I took away the 6c from this side. This time, I'm going to take away 8c from the right side. So I'm going to subtract 8c from both sides. And I am allowed to do that because of the addition property of equality. It's the subtraction property of equality. I can take away the same thing from both sides. All right. What's 6c minus 8c?
-2.
So I got negative 2c plus that 7 equals, well, what's 8c minus 8c? 0 minus 13. All right. I want you to solve this problem right here. Go. Solve it. So it's a separate one. It's a separate equation from the, wait, didn't we just do this problem? Yeah, do it this way. Going through your same process, like do this. That's okay, I'll do it again. Did you write this down?
No, I don't understand.
Wait, write this down. Just write this down for now. And then solve this just to get practice, and then I'll go back to the other steps.
Can you wait a second? Think of the. Can you wait? Wait, did somebody make?
Yeah, well, write it. Yeah. Go. How many of you, when you wrote this down, you're like, okay, C is being multiplied, then it's being added. So I undid the addition. You subtracted 7 from both sides, and you got to be careful here. So I'm going to work this one out. It's a little more complicated. You were left with negative 2c equals negative 20.
Yes.
Negative 20, right? And then you divided both sides by negative 2, and you got c equals positive
10.
Wait, Ethan, didn't you say positive 10? That's
Interesting.
again? But we did it different.
You can do it both.
Sorry.
You can do it both ways. In fact, I really think, and I haven't done an analysis of it, but I think you can do it 6 different ways.
Question.
Use the properties.
That way that we just did it, can you show us how to do that again? Like how to get it to whatever you posed?
To this?
Yes.
So here, CT, look at the original real quick. I wanted to get C on just one side. So I had it on both. I don't want that. I can't solve that. So if I subtract 8C, won't these cancel? But what I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So then what's 6C minus 8C? Negative 2C, and then I have that plus 7 equals, what was left here on the right? Negative 13.
So the only difference between this way and the first way is you subtracted from the different side?
I went from one to the other. That means you could do it either way. Your choice. Now, which one do you prefer? How many of you prefer the first way?
I like it.
Okay, how many of you prefer the second way? Okay, I think some of you prefer, I'm going to read your mind. Kate, did you prefer the first way? Or the second way? Or it doesn't matter?
Did you get it right?
Did you get one of the 6 ways that we taught? Okay. Yeah. How many of you did it where you did the first way and you liked that? You're like, I'd rather do that. Can I tell you why you probably liked it? Because you ended up with a positive. Is that true? Maybe some of you right here said, I like doing it this way because I like the variable on the left. I like that variable on the left. It doesn't matter what your explanation is. You should be able to do it either way, but you could prefer one and therefore use that way. All right, let's look at another one here. Okay. I'll tell you when I'm done writing the problem.
1,000 years.
Yes.
14 billion years later.
Earth.
1 eternity. 13.
All right, you guys should be writing things down and focusing on getting that written down. All right, we have 2 sides of an equation. We just stepped it up, guys. We stepped it up really high here. And again, I told you guys this last week when we're looking at addition subtraction equations. I told you it was going to get tougher. If you're trying to throw this in your head there, good luck is my question. And we haven't even gotten to the most difficult ones. But good luck. So what we're going to do here, guys, is we're going to do the same thing we've done on every other equation. And we're going to look at both sides. And we're going to simplify. Okay, let's look at the left side. Is that as simple as can be? No. Okay, the parentheses right there. By the way, do you guys remember how remember on the homework I made you redo it? And then I say like, look at X. Okay, what's happening? There are 3 things happening to X on the left side, but there's also 3 things happening on the right. Don't start undoing things. No, no, no. This is not simple enough to do that. Okay, but which property must be applied? Raise your hand. Yes, ma'am. Distributive. All right, listen, guys. You got to make sure. How many terms are in the parentheses here? 2 terms. So you're going to multiply this outside number by both of those inside numbers. And you can have more than 2 in there, by the way. You can have 4, 5, but 2 in 2 terms. What's negative 8 times 4? Negative 32. What's negative 8 times 9x? Negative 72x. Could you combine these 2 together? No, they are not like terms. This is not like that one. So those are not like. You're like, oh man. All right, we simplified the left side. Let's simplify the right side. So how many terms are in this set of parentheses? 1, 2. Do you guys remember on your, oh, by the way, guys, I need to apologize. Swivel. I'm so sorry. I got to record this and put this online. And it's an apology to you guys. I'm recording it to Swivel. He's the messenger. I'm the messenger. Wait, no. Okay, we're the messengers. Guys, I'm sorry. I did not get those quizzes yet. I have the back page to do, and then I'm done. And I don't know. That might take me till Friday or something. Maybe next week. I don't know. I'll try to get those done. But listen, Swivel, you understand. I'm sitting here working, and I'm trying to get stuff done, but I have a lot of duties here that I have to fulfill. But I don't want to push yours like too far down. I got to get that done soon. And they are second on my list to do today. So I will get those done as soon as I can. Yes, ma'am.
They go on our
Second quarter. They're the first grade of the second quarter. So yeah, I'll get those out to you. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
When are they doing that?
I think they're coming either today or tomorrow. Yeah, so you'll get them. No, report cards. Okay, I'm gonna multiply this 7 by both terms inside those parentheses. So what's 7 times negative 2? Negative 14. And do you guys notice I'm not even putting a plus sign there? I'm not putting anything there. I simply look, what's 7 times negative 11x? Negative 77x. And you're like, why do you put a negative there? Well, a positive times a negative is negative. So I just put that there. All right. Oh, this looks pretty bad, but it's not impossible. All right, there are two main ways that I'm trying to show you how to do these problems. There are other ways, but what I'm going to do is this. You can use any of the properties to make this an equation to solve. Do you notice that the x is on both sides? Okay, you get it to one side or the other. You have 2 main choices for that. So who would add 72x to both sides? You can do that. Who would add 77x to both sides? Who likes positive numbers? I would add 77x to both sides. Can I show you why? I like the why question, by the way. I told you that Titus is really asking me that question a lot. Why? I'm like, so he's like, Daddy, it's a plane, it's flying. I'm like, yeah, a plane flies in the air. Why?
Why?
Do you want the long or the short explanation?
Why?
And so when we're reading the story about the Good Samaritan,
Why?
and then the Levite passes him by. Why?
Why?
Because he didn't care enough to. Why, Daddy? And sometimes I think he's joking with me because I look at him, he says, why? And then I look at him, he does a little smirk like, oh, you're a little guy. Oh, man, okay. You're just like your daddy. I know your dad was kind of like that when he was a little guy. Oh, he's turning it back on me.
Why? Why were you like that? Why?
All right, yeah, all right. No. Okay, I did adding of 77x. Because what happens, all right, this cancels out. We get that part. But what's negative 72x plus 77x? 5x. if you would have added 72, so right, what's negative 72x plus 77x? 5x. If you would have added 72x to both sides, you would have ended up with negative 5x. And you guys don't like negatives.
How do you know?
That's a great question. Some of you are already starting to get it, but this is what I do. I look at it, I'm like, which way is going to end up with a positive x? So I think of it, I'm like, should I add 72 to both sides? Oh no, that's going to be negative. Should I add 77 to both sides? Oh, that's going to give me a positive, so I go with that. You don't have to look through that. Just do one thing or the other, and hopefully you get that positive. Get that positive. But I still have a negative 32 plus, remember this is positive, equals negative 14. Okay, what do I have to undo first, Marin? So I'm not asking what's happening next. I'm assuming you guys know that. Boys, I'm assuming you guys know that, but what do I have to undo first? And this is a little tricky, but let's see if you get it. Add 32 to both sides, because what happens, what's negative 32 plus 32? Cancels, yep. And what I do to one side, I do to the other. Yes, sir.
Okay, when you add the first number, how do you know which number to add it to on the other side?
Oh, great question. You see that these are like terms? So I'm going to add it to the like terms.
So you add it to the number with the variable on the other
Exactly, yeah, because if I put the 77x over here, those won't combine. And so it's still okay, but now this is clear. Oh, just add these or subtract these together. Yeah, put it right under like terms. Yeah, that's a good question. All right, I'm left with 5x equals, what do I get here? 18 positive. Okay, so what am I left with my answer? Sorry?
5x.
Oh, 5x equals 18, but I want to get x all by itself. So I do what to both sides? Hannah? Divide by 5. I'm left with x equals 18 fifths. Which, if some of you are like, that sounds bad, what is it as a mixed number? 3 and 3/5. I need to see after class. Again. Okay, sorry. Can we? I heard somebody. Yes, ma'am.
Can we put like it as a decimal?
Yeah, so did you get 3.6? Oh. Yep, you can do decimal too. Now, I could do any one of those answers because did I have fractions in the problem? No. Did I have decimals in the problem? No. So if my answer comes out to a partial number, then I can write it in any way. If I had a decimal in there, I need a decimal answer. If I had a fraction in there, fractional answer. What if I had both of them? You could do either one. Yeah, so I hope you could see the logic behind that. Yeah, just use either one. How many of you got 18 fifths? How many of you followed me and got 18 fifths? Okay. Oh. How many of you did? How many of you wrote this down and got 18 fifths? I hope you did. Okay. Don't worry. You'll get your chance on your own. The ultimate problem.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
I'm afraid to give you that one. I'm going to give you a semi-ultimate problem.
Give us that one.
All right. This is t plus 6. I'm trying to make my t and my plus different, over 5, and then I have t plus 2 over 10. We haven't gotten to proportions, or I don't think we've done proportions or ratios, have we? No, we.
No, we did those last year.
I thought, wow, I'm having a flashback. I think to last year. Okay, let's just go through this here. One thing I know is this. When I have two fractions equaling each other, that's a proportion. Have you heard of proportions? Okay, and you're like, what in the world do proportions have to do with what we're doing? Do I have an equation? Yes. Do I have the variable on both sides? Yep. So I can't just subtract 2 or subtract 6 from both sides or subtract t from both sides because of the denominator. You can't just do that, guys, but I can do this. Anytime you have a proportion, and I'll re-emphasize this later, you can always cross multiply. Do you remember cross multiplication? Okay, now listen to me carefully. You're like, that's impossible. Watch it. Please watch. And then I'll give you some time to write it down. I'm going to multiply this numerator by that denominator. Remember that? And then I'm going to multiply this denominator by that numerator. But this is how I'm going to do it, because it matters how you do it. So here's the first multiplication. It's t plus 6, so I'll make that taller, times 10. Isn't it that times 10? So you got to put it in parentheses. And that equals 5 times t plus 2. Does anyone know how to write that properly? How do you write this multiplication properly? You're like, what do you mean properly? Well, let's see. Yep.
T plus 2 in parentheses times
5?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Don't be scared of that. That's it. Now, how many of you are okay with that? Like you get this little phrase here. How many of you are a little off by that? It's bothering you a bit. Can I do this for you real quick? Let me do this. Can you do it? Yeah. Am I allowed to do that? Commuter property of multiplication. I could do that. Now that's super clear. Oh, that's what you meant. Yep, that's what I said. Actually, no. There you go. Now you're not bothered by it. Okay, yes, CT. Is there another way? Of course. There are actually
Well, no.
12 ways to do this one.
Not that, but can you still get this right without doing that cross multiplication thing?
Yes. But this is your best way, and I'm telling you, the one I wanted to give you is on page 81. Look at example number 1. Can you guys look at page 81, example number 1? That's the one I was going to give you. Yes. So look at it real quick. That's tough. Yeah, in just a moment. But I want to give you the simpler one first, just to kind of get, oh, that's what you're doing.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah, don't worry, not yet. Okay. Did I say it out loud? Yes, I did. Okay. I'm going to use what property here? Somebody help me out, please.
Wait a minute, what did you say?
What property? Yeah, what's 10? 10 times t. And then 10 times 6. So 10t plus 60. Can somebody tell me what I get on the right side after I apply the distributive property? I know 2 of you know. Day?
5t plus 10.
5t plus 10. I had a little lag there. Solve it.
Solve it.
Okay.
Yeah, now you guys go ahead and figure it out. And you can check it right up here. This should work for what you say t is. And don't forget to check. Oh, that's not it. That's not our bill.
Wait, I have an answer.
Okay, anyone else have an answer? It's okay. Can you just tell me what you did? Go, Maren.
Okay, so I added 10t and 5t.
So did you add 10t to both sides? So if you add 10t, what's 10t plus 10t? So that didn't cancel out. So instead of adding 10t, what do you think you could do? Or there's other things you could do. Because you're looking back and forth, that's good. Let her think.
Minus 10
T?
to this.
Or just 10? Yeah, this is a t. Yep, that's okay.
Okay, yeah.
All right, negative 10t. All right, you end up with 60 equals negative 5t plus 10. All right, then you subtract 10 from both sides, you get 50 equals negative 5t. Then you divide both sides by negative 5, and you end up with negative 10 equals t. That's your answer. Okay, now, how many of you got negative 10? Oh. All right, guys, this is what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to reduce the homework a little bit, and I'm actually going to change it. Hold on, I need to think this through. Okay, I'm going to give you 1 through 6 all. Yeah, let me get that in just a moment. 1 through 6 all. And I haven't heard anything about inside break, but you can't go on the main field.
You can't come in yet.
Bye-bye.